Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video this morning I am going to be giving you some latest news regarding Pochettino, because there's still a lot of rumours going on that I could possibly take over at Manchester United in the summer. Also going to give you the latest news regarding Anthony Martial. Do you think from your own perceptions that he's got a future at Manchester United? And also going to give you my overarching view on the two players that Manchester United signed in January. So there's lots to negotiate about, but the first topic of development I'm going to start with is Mauricio Pochettino. Now, obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been under intense pressure this season due to our inconsistency, because obviously, Manchester United are enjoying their worst start to a Premier League season for 30 years. So in that aspect, what I mean is that, up until this point, it's the worst we've ever been in the Premier League era and that. I don't see Manchester United sacking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at this present time and that, because I think, we have made that clear. I think if we are to sack him, we will sack him at the end of the season. That, but like I've said to you on my recent videos, I don't think he's the long-term solution for Manchester United. But, Mauricio Pochettino, we've been long admirers of him anyway. We've been in for Mauricio Pochettino for a long time. Don't forget, after the sacking of Jose Mourinho in December 2018, Manchester United went in for Mauricio Pochettino. But obviously, the main explanations why we didn't get Mauricio Pochettino in is because, our preference was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Plus, we saw it as like, look, Solskjaer was a cheaper solution. We didn't have to pay that much to Moll to recommend him in. And plus, Solskjaer knows the club inside out. And and Pochettino's comparison to that, because Pochettino obviously doesn't know the club as well as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And also, too, Solskjaer did well in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. So obviously, then we decided to keep Solskjaer on and give him the job on a permanent basis. Obviously, if Pochettino was to come to Manchester United or get any other job before the end of the season, then Tottenham would be entitled to £10 million in compensation. And he hasn't only been linked with a managerial role at Manchester United, he's also been linked with a Bayern Munich job. Well, earlier on in the season, he was linked with a Bayern Munich job. Also, Real Madrid have also been in for him. I think at one point, Barcelona were interested in recommending him in, because obviously, Barcelona did sack Ernesto Valverde not too long ago. But I think Pochettino earlier on in the season was in negotiations with Manchester United, and he said if he was to take over, he did demand quite a few things. He said, he wanted to take control of the transfers. He didn't want Ed Woodward as our director of football. But I think, we need a change of management, definitely. And if Pochettino was to come in, he would be our 5th permanent manager since the Alex Ferguson era. But I think, Pochettino is totally comparison to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And I think he's a much better manager than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because, Pochettino is well Premier League proven. He hasn't won out in terms of silverware, but that's only the element of concern. But he enjoyed a good 5.5 years with Tottenham. And like I mentioned, I think Tottenham did make a mistake getting rid of him. But Pochettino did say after he got sacked from Tottenham last year that he wanted an immediate return to management. But Pochettino, during his 5.5 years with Tottenham, he won 159 games in 293 games in all competitions. He won 113 games out of 202 just in the Premier League, so his record was pretty good. He progressed Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final last season. And, Tottenham were competing in and out of the top 4 for the vast majority of his current tenure. But then in the last couple of years, Tottenham did become title contenders in that. But, and also Pochettino's very good at developing young players, But, Pochettino's managed 3 clubs so far, 5.5 years with Tottenham. He had enjoyed a short tenure with Southampton. I thought he did well with them. And he also was at Espanyol, was Mauricio Pochettino. So he's been managing now for just over a decade. So yeah, like I mentioned, the rumours are still going on. But I think, we need to see a variety of changes at the football club anywhere. We've reflected on our inconsistency. Some of the blame stems from Solskjaer, but, he's not accountable for all of that. Obviously, we need to get rid of Ed Woodward, and we need to get rid of the Glazers, because, like Gary Neville was recently saying, our fans have got doubts about, you know, the executive and the ownership and all of that. So we've got to get rid of them, because I don't like the way the football club's been run in the last 6 or 7 years. I think we also need to get rid of our current board. Obviously, reflecting on their poor recruitment, and Gary Neville recently come out and, you know, criticised how poor our recruitment has been. And obviously, you know, we got 2 players in January and that. But, you know, Gary Neville's like saying, you know, it took us like 9 months to replace Romelu Lukaku to get a current striker in. So that just indicates how poor Manchester United's recruitment is. I still believe more players need to leave Manchester United in the summer. You know, obviously we saw 2 players go in January. Young, of course, went to Inter Milan for £1.5 million after he endured 8.5 years at Man United. And obviously, you know, Marcus Rojo went out on loan to Estudiantes until the end of the season. Obviously, with Solskjaer did say that Young and Rojo wouldn't have left though, but they did. Obviously, Rojo, I think we'll let him go because obviously, you know, we've got a lot of centre-backs in the team. And obviously, you know, now Eric Bay's back and Foster Mensah's back, which is very, very good in that. So we'll now get onto the news regarding Anthony Martial and that. And now there's a lot of people saying that, you know, so that Anthony Martial should be dropped because recently he has been in a bad run of form. You know, Ian Wright was coming out on Match at Day the other night, and he said, you know, Manchester United needs to drop Anthony Martial and we need to play Mason Greenwood ahead of him. Now, like I've said to you, Mason Greenwood, from my perception, is not getting enough starts in the Premier League. It's totally comparison in the cup games, because in the cup games, Mason Greenwood's getting a lot of starts. But in the league games, he's just not getting enough starts, is Mason Greenwood. So I would drop Martial, and I would put Mason Greenwood in that number 9 instead. But yeah, like I said, Martial's been getting a lot of criticism because I thought he put a really poor performance out against Wolves. You know, did Anthony Martial. People talk about saying that he's not getting enough service and that. But when he's had the ball recently, you know, he just doesn't really seem to do much with it. And he doesn't look interested, does Anthony Martial. And, you know, don't get me wrong, Anthony Martial's had some good spells as a Manchester United player. You know, this is currently now his 5th season at the football club. Martial has scored, 60 goals in 202 appearances since his arrival from Monaco back in 2015. Manchester United paid £36 million for him. Could potentially rise up to 57 or 58 million based on goals and achievements. But I know I said early on this season that I think he's a long-term solution for Man United, but now my perceptions may change because reflecting on his recent performances, they have been very, very bad. You know, some people say Martial plays better out wide. Some people say he does okay in that central position. You know, don't forget Man United gave him a new long-term contract last summer. I think Anthony Martial signed a 5-year contract, and he's still only at the age of 24. Maybe if Man United are going to consider selling him, then maybe, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer may have to get permission from, you know, Joe Glazer, is it? Because Joe Glazer is a big fan of Anthony Martial. So we could actually, you know, get rid of him in the summer. Obviously, you know, we can cash in for the player. You know, maybe we could get a good, 20 or 30 odd million pounds for him. But he has been very, very poor recently, is Anthony Martial, definitely in that. So he could be one of the players that Man United do consider getting rid of. Now, I'm going to give you my overarching view on the signings that Manchester United made. I think Bruno Fernandes is a very, very good signing for us. You know, as you all know, Manchester United paid around £68 million for him in total, with add-ons included. So Bruno Fernandes is like our 4th most expensive signing. And, you know, like I said, he's a very, very good player, is Bruno Fernandes. I thought he did fantastic on his debut against Wolves. Like I mentioned, he had, you know, the most touches in the first half. I think he had around 5 shots. 3 of them were on target. But, you know, the interchange, you know, was just terrible in the first half of that game against Wolves. You know, Bruno Fernandes was rotated from an attacking midfielder to a holding midfielder. And basically, Bruno Fernandes wasn't bad. It was just the usage of the player that was bad, because Solskjaer put him as a holding midfielder when he's actually, you know, predominantly an attacking midfielder. But Bruno Fernandes will do well for the football club. And he's obviously the replacement for Paul Pogba, because I'm still very convinced that Paul Pogba will leave the football club in the summer. And I'm very convinced Bruno Fernandes will replicate at Manchester United what he did do in his 2.5 years with Sporting Lisbon. In his 2.5 years with Sporting Lisbon, he scored 64 goals in 137 appearances in all competitions and that. and I think he'll honestly exceed expectations in the Premier League, will Bruno Fernandes. But I'm deadly serious. I think he's a very, very good signing for Manchester United. My perceptions on Odion Ighalo. Of course, Manchester United got him in just before the transfer window shut. Odion Ighalo is, a good cover-up for Marcus Rashford, because obviously, Marcus Rashford is out for at least the next couple of months with an injury. He's obviously, got a back injury as Marcus Rashford, and but he's a good cover-up, is Odion Ighalo, and that, because I said we needed to get a striker in, because obviously, where the goal's coming from without Rashford, because Martial's not in good form, Daniel James hasn't been so good in the last month or so. But, I think Odion Ighalo will do well. He gave his overarching view on securing his move to Man United, Odion Ighalo, and he said, it's a dream come true, because Odion Ighalo is a Manchester United supporter anyway. We haven't got him permanently, obviously. We've got him on loan until the end of the season. It is a 6-month loan. There is no option to buy. And obviously, Solskjaer said he's an experienced player. He's an option of a different type of centre forward, for the short spell he's here. But like I mentioned, he's a Manchester United fan. Man United have paid around £3 or £4 million for the loan. Obviously, we're paying like a third of his wages, so I do believe we're paying Odion Ighalo around £100,000 a week, because his wages are like £300,000 a week and that. But I think he'll do well at Man United. I think he'll get his chances, because he's also a good alternative to Anthony Martial. I think he'll replicate at Man United what he did do in China, because in China he was very, very good, especially for Shanghai Shenhua. He scored 46 goals in 72 games in China. He's also well proven in the Premier League. He endured 3 years with Watford. For Watford, he scored 39 goals in 99 games in all competitions. Don't forget, he was also the top scorer for the African Cup of Nations last year. Obviously, when he was younger, he played in Norway with Lynn. He had a spell in Italy with Underneath. He had a couple of loan spells in Spain with Granada. So he has played for quite a few clubs, and he is the age of 30. He's Odion Ighalo. So I think that's good business from Manchester United. So, yeah, quite frankly, he's the replacement for Romelu Lukaku and that. But he's definitely, like I mentioned, revert back to what I said, he's a good cover-up for Marcus Rashford, definitely in that. But like I mentioned, we've got quite a few ambitions this season. And, one of those ambitions is to finish in that top 4. Because top 4 is very, very imperative this season for Man United. Because obviously we want to get Champions League football, for next season. And we still do remain 6 points behind top 4 at the moment. The only main explanation why we're in that top 4 is because Chelsea have been so inconsistent. But we've had so many chances to close the gap on that top 4. Realistically now, we should be in that top 4. Because there's games this season that Manchester United should have won. After the winter break and that, we've got to obviously, get back to winning ways in the Premier League. Because, we're winless in our last 3 league games, and we haven't even scored 1 goal in our last 3 league games. But Solskjaer's said, the winter break, is good for us, obviously, it's very, very good for Manchester United. Obviously, he will get the players prepared and fresh, for the Chelsea game on the 17th of this month. And I do presume in that game against Chelsea, that's when Odion Ighalo will be making his debut for the football club. But Chelsea, will actually, be a very, very difficult game. Also, Club Brugge is coming up very, very soon in the Europa League knockout stages. But, we've also got quite a few ambitions, a few other ambitions, and, also want to get some silverware on the board this season. Solskjaer recently spoken about the importance of us getting silverware on the board. Because obviously, I think we can win the FA Cup. There's a possible chance we can win it. We are into the 5th round of the competition. We can also, win the Europa League. That's another chance of getting silver on the board. Plus, that's another route to Champions League football. We want to get silver on the board because, we've had silverware in the last 6 or 7 years. So that is very, very important indeed. But, we're not in that commanding position, that we should be in. We're not in the position that we should be in. You know, reflects on the size and the potential of the club. Also reflecting on the amount of money that's been invested into the football club in the last 6 or 7 years. Manchester United have spent nearly £1 billion on recruiting new players in. I think this is since the Alex Ferguson era. And, you know, there's teams above us that have spent nowhere near to the extent of what we've spent. You know, Sheffield United are above us, they've spent nowhere near what we've spent. Leicester are above us, you know, they haven't spent nowhere near what we've spent. City haven't spent, you know, more than us in the last 6 or 7 years. I know the strides ahead of us at the moment. You know, Liverpool haven't spent as much as us, and, you know, Liverpool are on course this season to win their first ever Premier League title. So they are going to end their 30-year drought, and it's going to be their 19th overall. So that means in that aspect, you know, they are one behind us because we're on 20 titles at the moment. You know, Liverpool have won 24 games out of 25 this season. They're unbeaten in 53 Premier League games at Anfield. And, you know, they've registered, 73 points from 25 Premier League games. And Liverpool, of course, are breaking records. But Liverpool are strides ahead of us at the moment and that. But, you know, it's going to take Man United several years to get them back to where they want to be. You know, it's a long rebuilding process and that. I think for us to be back being competitive, I think it's dependent on, you know, if we can get the right players in the next couple of windows. And also, it is dependent on if we can get the right manager in. I think Manchester United need to recommend a manager in at the top level, a manager in with a proven pedigree. You know, maybe not always the right solution, no, because obviously we've already had 2 managers at the elite level, and that was Louis van Gaal, who we got in from Bayern Munich. We won the FA Cup under Van Gaal, but his philosophy wasn't right. And Jose Mourinho, he endured 2.5 years at the football club. He's endured the longest tenure with the club since Alex Ferguson's retirement back in 2013 and that. But, you know, the football was just totally boring under Jose Mourinho. And it was part of the bus football, really. You know, I give you the variety of reasons why, you know, it didn't work out under the Jose Mourinho era. But we just need a manager to come in. Someone who, you know, whose philosophy would be right for the club. Someone who would be reliable to, you know, oversee our transfer business and that. And quite clearly, Solskjaer is not the right manager for Manchester United. And the main explanations why I don't think Solskjaer is the right man is because I think, you know, he doesn't fit the trappings of the club, despite the fact he knows the club inside out. I think he doesn't have a plan A, doesn't have a plan B, doesn't really know how to change a game. You know, he's too inexperienced as a manager. You know, obviously before he was at Manchester United, he managed Mould and Cardiff. Obviously, his record at Manchester United is also very, very bad. His record at Cardiff was also very, very bad. You know, he actually ended up getting Cardiff relegated. So this is the main explanation why Cardiff sacked him. But since he was named permanent manager at Manchester United in March of last year, Solskjaer has won 12 games in the Premier League. And I think he's managed around 33 games in the Premier League at the moment. So his record is really, really bad because he's actually, you know, lost more games now in the Premier League than he has actually, you know, won. Solskjaer believes from his own perception, if he's given the right amount of time, he can build a team like, you know, Liverpool's. He can, you know, emulate into the next Jurgen Klopp. Because he was talking about Jurgen Klopp a couple of weeks ago, and he said basically, you know, it took Jurgen Klopp 3 or 4 years, you know, to emulate to the level, you know, that he's currently at and that. But Solskjaer isn't the right manager for Manchester United. Don't get me wrong, I thought he was a great player for the club. Very good player, so he's got that proven pedigree as a player, but I just feel as though, as a manager, he's totally a comparison to how he was as a player, definitely in that. And he's been here 13 months, nearly 14 months now he's been here, should I say. He's been permanent boss for almost 11 months. You know, I thought Solskjaer was the right man when he was the interim manager in that 3-month period because he did really, really well. But like I mentioned, there's not only problems with the backroom staff or the management or, you know, with Ed Woodward and the Glazers. There's also problems on the pitch because there's still a lot of aspects of our game that do need to improve. But like I've mentioned to you guys, there's more players that need to go. Andres Pereira is another one I think that needs to go. He's been playing a lot this season, Andres Pereira. I think that's only been due. That's obviously, you know, because of the injury of Scott McTominay and that. But Pereira needs to be moved on, definitely. He's been getting a lot of criticism for his poor run of performances. I think Nemanja Matic is another player that needs to be moved on. Obviously, he's recently been suspended, so this is why he wasn't involved against Wolves. We overpaid for Nemanja Matic. He's now into his third season at the football club. I thought he had a good game against City, but I just think he's too slow and he's too easily predictable. Chong, I think he'll go in the summer. He'll either probably go to Juventus or Inter Milan. I don't think he's at that level as yet, is Chong. Luke Shaw, some people are saying he needs to go. He's still playing though. He's not first choice anymore though, because obviously we see Brandon Williams as our first choice over Luke Shaw. I think Brandon Williams is a much better solution than Luke Shaw, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. Because he's done well since he's come into the senior squad as Brandon Williams. He's going to the squad. I think Phil Jones, another player that needs to be moved on, doesn't really get in the team now anywhere, because obviously Victor Lindelof and Harry Maguire are our first choice centre backs. So yeah, but there on the other hand, these still players I would be determined to keep at Manchester United. I would keep Marcus Rashford. I would keep Martial. I don't know about that at the moment. If he continues with the bad run of performances, I would get rid of him. I'd definitely get rid of Jesse Lingard. He's been too inconsistent. And again, why did Solskjaer bring him on against Wolves? Lingard needs to go. He's been here for several years. I think up until this point, Lingard has spent the entirety of his career with Man United. He's had some good spells, don't get me wrong, but in the past year or so, just more than or even more than a year, he's just been so inconsistent. Hasn't scored in the Premier League this season. Last year, did not score one goal or not even registered one single assist. So that just indicates how poor Lingard has been. He has been operating at number 10 a lot when he's played. Do you think if he played out on the right, do you think you'd see better of Jesse Lingard? I don't know, to be quite honest with you, but he's been so poor. I'd probably keep Lindelof because I think he's done well alongside Maguire. Some people are believing that we should try and get a centre back in the summer as a maybe someone who would be, good alongside Maguire. I know Lindelof is. Lindelof has had some bad games as a Manchester United player. I wouldn't say he's a world-class centre-half, but I think he's pretty decent for us. But I don't think we need a centre-back from my own perception. I think the areas we need to strengthen up in the summer, I think Man United need to consider getting a left-back. I think possibly we need to get a right winger. We possibly need to get a hold. Yeah, well, not possibly. I think we do need to get a holding midfielder, definitely. So we need to get around 3 or 4 signings in the summer without a shadow of a doubt in that. Juan Mata, I probably would be determined to keep him because I think he's a good backup for Bruno Fernandes. I don't think Mata's a liability because I think in the games he's played in this season, he's done quite well. I know he's lost that yard of pace and that, and he is aging up, but I still think he's going strong. He's Juan Mata, and I think he has enjoyed a decent career with Manchester United. So yeah, there's still a lot of players I would be determined to keep at the football club. Definitely keep the 3 players that Solskjaer brought in last summer in Maguire, James and Wan-Bissaka. I'd still be determined to keep them because I think Wan-Bissaka has been a fantastic right back for Manchester United, definitely in that. But we already are making plans for the summer. We already are making plans for the summer and that, so that is very, very good. But, Solskjaer knows it's a transition period for us. He's aware that, he wants us, to get past this transition period. But Solskjaer knows now he's got many expectations to exceed at the football club, definitely. Manchester United, like I said, are still one of the biggest clubs in the world with a fantastic history, with an ecstatic stadium and that. But I've just got to unfortunately say that Solskjaer is not the right manager for Manchester United and that. I don't think we'll ever be the team that was under Ferguson. Solskjaer won't invoke Ferguson's legacy to save him at the club. I don't think either. No manager would. No manager would whatsoever. We'll never be the team that was under Alex Ferguson. Definitely not. But Solskjaer, in 3 transfer windows now, has recruited 5 players into the team and that, which is quite good, because a massive rebuild is needed at the football club. Obviously, Solskjaer's still inheriting a lot of Jose Mourinho's players because the vast majority of these players are Jose Mourinho's. He spent a good £400 million at the club on 11 players. There's still players even from the Van Gaal era who are still here now. A lot of them left though. Since a lot of players left. Who Louis van Gaal brought in. You know, we had like Schneiderlin, Sebastian Schweinsteiger, you know, Memphis Depay, you know, Falcao, Di Maria, you know, they're the sort of players that, you know, Louis van Gaal did bring in. Maybe, you know, there's some players who we've got rid of over the years that Man United should have kept. Maybe we should have kept Di Maria because I thought he enjoyed a good start to his first season when Louis van Gaal brought him in. You know, obviously, you know, Moyes only recruited 2 players in, that was Fellaini and Juan Mata. Fellaini left in January 2019. You know, Juan Mata's still here now. And there's still about 2 players here from the Alex Ferguson era that Solskjaer is inheriting and that. So, you got to say that, you know, he's still in the process of rebuilding. Man United we've got good players in our team. And, you know, I said when Solskjaer came in, he's inheriting a good squad. But like I said, you know, just not playing as a unit and they're not playing as a team and that. And Liverpool play as a unit and they play as a team. And this is why they're in the position they're in now, you know, to be honest with you. But we've got a lot of good players, and there's a lot of players that are better than a lot of teams players in the league. But we don't play better football because we don't really seem to have a style of play, and that's my element of concern, definitely. But Man United have had a lot of injuries this season. That hasn't been excusable for how inconsistent we've been, no. You know, players have just come back, like I said, Bay's now back. When's he going to play? He hasn't played since he's come back. Fosu-Mensah, I don't think's played since he's come back. The Lot's just recently come back. He's a backup option at right back for us. You know, Pogba, of course, is still out. I think Pogba could possibly be back for Chelsea. Solskjaer recently gave us an update regarding him, and he said Pogba has had his ankle cast removed, so he's close to returning. I think McTominay's due sometime back this month from injury. And McTominay's good, you know, because I thought he did well before then he got injured, McTominay and that. But we'll look a lot more expansive in that midfield when Pogba and McTominay do come back. Even some people say even with them in the midfield, we're still not good enough in midfield. You know, Rashford should be back in the next couple of months. Tuanzebe, I think, still out with injury. So we've had a lot of injuries this season and that. But yeah, that's really everything to update you with. And also on this channel, guys, I am going to be giving you a preview for the Liverpool Shrewsbury game. So yeah, so anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.